Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all good. Alhamdulillah, we complete the first volume of physics. Now we are going to move on the second volume. In first volume, we may learned all the things about electric charges, electric field intensity, electric current, electromagnetic effects, and electromagnetic waves. All the things we learned. Okay, but in the second lesson, the continuation of the light waves, okay, how their behavior in the reflection and refraction phenomenon, what are the theories of light, okay, how they Huygens principles, okay, whether the light waves are transverse and longitudinal, all those things are revealed by this ray optics, okay, and whether they are interferent with each other or whether they superimpose each other, whether they diffracted or whether they polarized, okay, all the phenomena are proved that they are waves, okay. So that also we learned in that wave optics. Dual nature and of my radiation and matter, you know very well, the light act as a dual nature, it acts like a wave as well as ray, okay. So when the radiation is interact with that matter, what will happen? It produces photons, is a photoelectric effect, and de Broglie wavelength of length, okay, wavelength of electron, all those things we learned in the 8th lesson, that is called dual nature of radiation and matter, and atomic and nuclear physics, okay. This is one of the hypothesis, okay, how the atoms, how they behaved, how the nucleus are surrounded by the atoms, okay. So all those things we can learn in this atomic and nuclear physics. And also here we gonna learn the interesting one thing, how the nuclear reactor will work, how the nuclear properties of the nuclear forces, okay. Because Satwick, whoever we came across, that scientist has discovered everything, but the nuclear force is the strongest force of all, okay. So next one thing, the electronics, okay. When they come up of the atomic and nuclear physics, the electronics and communications, what is mean by electronics, how they are arranged, okay, how the silicon and how the diodes works, how the rectifiers works, how the capacitor and transistors are combined through their work, all those things we learned in this electronics. And then Boolean algebra is the one of the important things, okay. Because without the developing of this technology, the physics, okay, without developing the physics, with the technology we cannot get, right. So all the things, how they are related with the physics, we are learned in this electronics and communication, how the sky waves are propagated, how the ground waves and the space waves are propagated through the atmospheres, okay. And the 11th lesson is called recent development in physics, okay. What is mean by recent development? There is a lot of recent development, the 3D organs, okay, next the laser surgeries and the artificial intelligence, AI method. This is a recent development in physics. So these all the modern technologies are based only on physics, okay. So all the things we're gonna learn in this lesson, inshallah, we'll see one by one. First, the ray optics, okay. In this lesson, the ray optics, which is very important, whether it's proved that light has a dual nature, one has the wave and it is the ray, okay. In the ray optics, they are proved the phenomena of reflection, their refraction, and speed of the light, and mirror lens, how they act in the how the light will act through this. All this phenomenon proved the light waves or light or rays. So this way we are dealing with the light with the ray optics phenomenon, that is called, with as a ray, that is called ray optics. There are main two ways of spreading light to the candle or to the mirror that reflects it, okay. Edith Warden. The different phenomena like dispersion and scattering of light also provided the phenomena of ray optics. We know that lies the mystical. Yes, behavior is so fascinating, it is difficult to comprehend light as a single entity. There are ray optics deals with that light that is represented as a ray traveling in a straight line. Here, the geometrical construct that gets the permanence to understand some of the characteristics of light and the phenomenon associated with it. There are several other phenomena which can be only explained using the wave optics, which we study in the next unit, okay. There is also quantum aspect of light, which we can study the quantum optics in the graduate level courses, okay. There is a wave optics, ray optics, and quantum optics. Now, when the light is passing through that, when the light travels in the straight line, the light deviate in the path only when it encounters the another medium. Okay, so it's the direction of the light. It does not give the information about the other characters like intensity and color of light. However, the ray is sensible representation of light in ray optics. The path of the light is called ray of light, or bundle of such rays is called beam of light. Note it down. The path of the light called ray of light, and the bundle of each rays is called beam of light. Okay, in this chapter we can explain the phenomenon of reflection, refraction, dispersion, scattering of light using the ray optics. Okay, reflection. What is mean by reflection? When an object, okay, when you're throwing the ball, okay, what will happen? When you're throwing the ball towards the wall, what will happen? If the ball, if it is pure elastic, what will happen? It bounce back to the certain angle to the opposite of the wall. Okay, that is called reflection. Now it's making some angle also. Now what is mean by reflection? Reflection is nothing but whenever the light rays falls on that, right ray falls on that, it is called incident ray. It is called incident ray. When the surface is incident on the surface, when it's reflected through the same boundary with the same surface, then it is called reflected ray. So this is your reflected ray, this is your incident ray, this is your normal. Okay, so when it's making is an angle of 90-degree normal, that is called n, and here it is an incident angle. The incident angle is nothing but the angle between normal and incident light. Okay, the angle between normal and incident angle. See, incident ray, this is your incident angle, this is your reflecting angle. Okay, so the bouncing back of light into the same medium when it encounters the reflecting surface is called reflection of light. Any polished surface can reflect light. Mirrors which are silver coated, note it down. Mirrors with a silver coated at their back can reflect almost 90%. So 90% of light will be reflected when the surface of the mirror, backside of the mirror, coated with silver. Okay, the angle of incident I, that the angle of reflection R, measured with respect to the normal drawn to the surface of the point, surface at the point. Okay, listen. According to the law of reflection, the incident light, reflected ray and normal to the reflecting surface all are coplanar. That is, they should lie on the same plane. That's important. One more question also. And the angle of incident I is equal to angle of reflection R. So I must be equal to R. Okay, look at that picture. Is an irregular planar. Okay, if they're having the normal planar, then xy is the plane. Okay, that is called same of plane or coplanar. The n is the normal to that surface. Okay, it's a geometrical center, and the ray A is called one of the ray which is incident on the surface xy and reflected back to OB. Okay, so A is a incident ray and B is the reflected ray from the normal. The angle between the normal and the incident ray, it is called incident angle. The angle between the normal and that B, it is called reflecting angle. This is called incident angle. Okay, so what will happen if the planar is not smooth? Okay, so the planar is not a regular or irregular reflection. What will happen? The laws of reflection are valid at each point of the reflecting surface, whether the surface is flat or curved. Okay, flat or curved. If the reflecting surface is in the flat, then the incident parallels or reflectance came out the parallel shows. The reflecting is not in the it is not in the curved, or it is not in the irregular. It is in the irregular. Then the incident light will be happen like that. Okay. So what is meant by angle of deviation? The angle of deviation is nothing but what the angle between the incident ray and deviated ray. Incident ray and deviated ray, it is called angle of deviation. Two mark question. D equal to 180 minus 2i. See, the angle of deviation, how much of angle it is incident, how much of angle is reflected. Okay, so the total deviation from the path, okay, for total deviation from the path, it is called minus 2i. So the angle of deviations can also be measured in terms of the glancing angle alpha, which is measured between the incident ray AO and the reflecting plane XY. Okay, so d equal to 2 alpha, d equal to 2 alpha. Look at the picture. XY is a plane, the A is the incident angle and B is the reflected angle, and the actual ray passing through that plane, it is A to C, but deviated, how much is deviated? So here 90 plus here 90, so 180. 180 minus incident angle of reflection, because angle of incident will be equal to angle of reflection. So I plus I equal to 2i. So d equal to 180 minus 2i. Okay, so how the image will be formed? Okay, so look at the picture. Plane mirror, there is a plane mirror. Okay, so let us consider the object A placed in the front of the plane mirror. A is a front of the plane mirror. Okay, the mirror is placed back side, they will coated with some surface. Okay, so what will happen? The distance between object and the mirror, it is called object distance. The distance between A and O, it is called object distance. Distance between the image, that is called the virtual image, will be formed in the mirror, that is called virtual image. That image and that mirror, okay, the distance between mirror and the image, it is called image distance. Okay, look at the picture. The candle, it is an actual object, okay, which is placed in front of the mirror. How we are looking that candle in the front of the mirror, they will look like that. Okay, there is also one of the reflecting and virtual image. The light ray AO from the point, the object is incident on the mirror and the reflected along OB. The normal is ON. Okay, these are the things. Characteristics by the image formation. Characteristics by the image formation. How the lights are characterized, or how the image are characteristics formed by the plane mirror. The image formed by the plane mirror is virtual, erect, laterally inverted, sideways, left or right. Okay, when you are looking your hands on the mirror, it will shows like if you are showing the left hand, it maybe you feel like or illusion like a right hand. Okay, so image formed by the plane mirror is virtual, erect and laterally inverted, sideways. Okay, the size of the image is equal to the size of the object. Always remember that. Okay, when you're seeing that the size, maybe you will you may see in the fun magic mirror show, that mirrors and all, how they are placing that mirror. Okay, that only when you are seeing your face and the mirror, some mirror will shows the elongated picture, some mirror will show the short pictures, or some mirror will show that what is that, the larged one, enlarged one, or the thinnest one. Okay, whatever may be, but these mirrors are one important. Okay, so this is called plane mirror. So plane mirror will shows the real size of the object. It shows the real size of the object. The image distance behind the mirror is equal to the object distance in front of the mirror. The image distance behind the mirror. Okay, for example, here I have the mirror, it is coated with that. Okay, back side they are coated like that. Here I have the object. Okay, let's think about you. How much of distance you are placing from the mirror, same distance will be occupied by the image. Same distance will be occupied by the image. Okay, so this is one of the important point. If an object placed between the two plane mirrors inclined at an angle theta, then the number of image formation is given by 360 by theta. See, image formed by the inclined mirror, even number of images, 360 by theta. The position of the object symmetrically, they placed it symmetrically. Okay, number of images, how much of images will be flow? 360. How the angle? Okay, for example 120 means 360 divided by 120 is nothing but 3 minus 1 2, so 2 numbers image will be formed there, unsymmetrical. Same thing. Okay, n is equal to 360 by theta minus 1, all numbers of images. Okay, so this is how they were given. And look at the picture. Spherical mirrors. Okay, the plane mirror different from the spherical mirror. We shall now study about the reflections will takes place the spherical surface. The spherical surface is the path cut from the hollow sphere. Spherical mirror are generally constructed using the glass. Okay, spherical mirror look like this. For convex it will be like this. For concave it will be like this. Okay, remember I'll explain how the convex and concave mirrors are occupied. Okay, the spherical surface is the part cut from the hollow sphere. Spherical mirrors are generally constructed using glass. One surface of the glass is silvered. The reflection takes place the other surface which is polished. Okay, if the polished surface of the mirror is convex, then it is called convex mirror. Okay, so here look at the picture. We have the both mirrors. Okay, concave mirror. When you're taking the spoon, okay, when you're taking the spoons, you may see in lot of examples. Okay, inner part when you're taking the spoon, the inner part. Okay, so inner part of the spoon, it is called concave. That means the outer part will be coated. Okay, what about the convex? The inner part, that means the spoon inner part will be coated, outer part will be reflecting surface. Okay, look at the picture. Convex and concave. Outer part will be coated, see, they are coating like this. Outer part, here the inner part will be coated. So convex, inner part coated, that means outer part will be surfaced, I mean polished. Okay, the concave mirror, they have the inner part to be reflecting surface. Okay, so now listen. Inner reflective concave mirror, outer reflective convex mirror. Here we have the center of curvature. What is the center of curvature? It is nothing but center of the sphere, which is the mirror part. Center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part, it is called center of curvature. What is meant by radius of the curvature? The radius of the sphere, which is a spherical mirror, the part is called radius of curvature of the mirror. Pole, the middle point on the spherical surface of the mirror or geometrical center of the mirror, it is called pole. Okay, when you are taking the mirror, the geometrical center, it is called the pole. Okay, principal axis, the line joining the pole P and the center of curvature C is called the principal axis. Okay, when you are taking that, see, this is your mirror. Okay, see, this is your mirror. This is the point that is called pole, the center of the geometrical center. This is point center of curvature. So this axis we known as that principal axis. This axis known as the principal axis. That also called optical axis. Focus point or focal point. The light rays traveling parallel to the close to the principal axis when they incident on the spherical mirror converge at the point for the concave mirror or appear to diverge from the point for the convex mirror. Look, note it down. Converge at a point for the concave mirror, appears to be diverge for the convex mirror on the principal axis. Okay, so that point we called as focus point or focal point of the mirror. Focal length, the distance between that pole and the focus point, it is called focal length. Focal plane, that's the same thing. See, look at the picture. So this is inner reflecting concave. So inner reflecting concave, C is the center of curvature. This is the focus point or focal point or focal length. Focus point. This is the focal length, and this is the geometrical center of P, the radius of curvature. That means the distance between the pole and the center of curvature for that concave mirror. Okay, what about the convex mirror? So same thing, convex mirror. Okay, convex mirror. When you're taking the convex mirror, same, the pole, the center of the geometrical center of the mirror is called pole. F is called the focal length or focus point, and C is the center of curvature. What is a paraxial line and marginal lines? Okay, so you must know this one, paraxial line. The paraxial rays are the rays which travel very close to the principal axis and make small angle with it. Okay, so remember that paraxial rays are the rays which is very close to that principal axis, which is very close to the principal axis and makes a small angle, which is makes a small angle with it. They fall on the mirror very close to the pole. On the other hand, the marginal rays are the rays which travel far away from the principal axis and makes larger angle with it. So paraxial rays which is very close to the principal axis, and marginal rays which are far away from the principal axis, that makes an angle. Okay, so look at the picture. As an inner reflective, that is called concave mirror. So marginal rays which the principal axis. Okay, so this is called principal axis. So here the pole and center of curvature, focus points are there. Paraxial line which is very close to that principal axis, paraxial lines which is very close to the principal axis, and marginal rays which is have the larger angle, and then they have far away from that principal axis, far away from that principal axis. Okay, so guys, for this day this is enough. Inshallah we'll read about all those things, and then there is something after this examinations was over. Maybe after this one we have a relation between F and R, one the lens makeup formula, all those things is important things are there. So goes on that, inshallah we'll see. Okay, thank you guys, Allah Hafiz.